All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. And in this video we are going to be draggy testing the car on E30. We put a splash of E85 in the car. We're going to see if it is worth mixing fuel on an otherwise stock setup. If you guys missed my last video, I did draggy this car in the configuration it is in right now. And it is running mid-12s. I do believe on the E30 mix, this car should be able to dip into the low 12s, potentially high 11s. We have the same weather going on right now. This is still going to be the same configuration. It is a full weight 301A car. The back seats are intact. It's just I have the seats down. Here on the stock wheels and tires. Stock engine. I just have a different carbon fiber intake cover. The carbon traps are still intact. This car has catalytic converters, and we do have a Steeda H-pipe resonator delete for additional sound. So let's go ahead, get to a spot in Mexico and see if E30 is worth it, because I'm honestly curious to see if this is going to be worth it, because I've actually never done this on a car before. Whew. You guys enjoy the content, make sure y'all drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn those post notifications. I'm gonna be doing the same thing when we get long tube headers. We're gonna get the 93 testing and then the E30 testing, and then obviously with boost. All right, we're gonna do all the runs in drag mode because this is an MT82 D4 car, and drag mode is going to be the best mode to go ahead and do this in. We're also going to turn off advanced track so we do not have any type of systems limiting power and slowing down the times. I believe the temperatures are going to be pretty much the same as well tonight. Literally, I think it's like 1 degree cooler. Warm these tires up. I mean, it feels good. It definitely feels good. Definitely feels good. There's obviously going to be some spinning going on because it did spin on the regular 93 fill up, but since we are on E30 now, hopefully it's not too bad. It shouldn't be that bad. It is obviously cooler out. The computer does go ahead and compensate for the E30 blend, especially if the car is still pretty much stock, because the resonator delete is not going to be going ahead and, you know, impacting horsepower gains. It might be like, realistically, in this DA and air we have right now, it's doing nothing. But if you wanted to go ahead and check out E30, by all means do it. So I'm gonna catch up with you guys kind of when we get closer to the spot right now, because it is a little bit of a drive. I like to go ahead and hit the same stretch of road. That's all we're gonna be doing. We're going to be hitting up the same exact stretch of road. We're going to be doing a second gear hit, and then we're going to be doing a third gear hit to go ahead and see what's up. The third gear hit, believe it or not, on the 93 fill-up was slower, but the car did kind of do a little bit of hopping. So if I have space and there isn't a lot of cars, there is another spot that I'm going to try to do a third gear hit. That's a little bit more flat, but this is the spot that I like to go ahead and, you know, do all my draggy runs at, because it's just a good strip of road. It's just sometimes it's a little bit sketchy, but I think it should be pretty decent.
A few moments later.
All right, we're pulling up to my spot, and it looks like the DA is actually significantly lower. Short shifted that a little bit, but it's all good. All right, so I'm gonna have to do that draggy pass again. I actually, first of all, I was in the wrong gauge cluster, so I'm like 99% sure I was short shifting that. And number two, I actually hit it too far late and it went negative slope, and that's gonna be pretty much invalidating the pass. So we're gonna try that again. We're gonna do another second gear hit. And then hopefully on my way back, there is a straightaway that's clear so I can do the third gear hit on a more flat road so we don't have the same instance as before. Ironically, that pass right there, I don't know if I short shifted or not, it actually ran the same exact time than it did with the 93 fill up, and the DA is a little bit better tonight. It's like 1600, so 1600 versus 2000. The temperature is the same, just a little bit different DA. So hopefully, you know, we can go ahead and run a lower 12, maybe a high 11. If not, oh well. I'm not really gonna care, you know, if it does pick it up or not, just for the fact that that's just, you know, less calculating I need to do at the pump, and I can just continue to run 93 and it's really not gonna make a difference. That's the thing, man, like these E30 tunes, obviously the car isn't tuned for E30. So I think the benefits of E30 is just gonna have, you know, overall, you know, better cooling as opposed to performance, which realistically is nice. So, you know, if I decide to, you know, take it out spiritedly, you know, maybe E30 would be a good idea. But if I'm not really seeing any horsepower gains just based off the draggy numbers, you know, obviously filling up E30 every single time you're at the pump would be a complete waste of time. But we're gonna see what this thing can do, man. Like I said, low 12, high 11, and the trim it is right now, I'll be chilling. You know, you can easily go ahead and get that with lighter wheels, better tires, or potentially putting on headers. I think headers would probably do that. I'm not too sure though. All right, so I don't know why my GoPro did not record the second gear 60 to 130, but my draggy did record it. And I don't know if my draggy is tweaking out, because I'm getting like a lot of slope in that area that I normally don't get slope at. But so far, considering, you know, that we're running it on the same road, you know, the conditions, they're not exactly the same, but, you know, 1800 EA versus 2000, same exact temperature pretty much, like a degree or two. There really isn't that much of a difference. If anything, the car is running slower. That guy is tweaking out. If anything, the car is running slower, or it's reading slower on the draggy. Again, I don't know if my draggy is tweaking out, because it took it a couple of seconds to actually get the satellite footage. So I'm not too sure if it's my draggy or just E30 really isn't all that, unless maybe you have to do the carbon traps and a couple other things, weight reduction. I'm not really seeing a huge difference with this. Like, I'm not seeing any difference actually. So we're gonna do, hopefully we can try to get a third gear hit right now. If not, I'm gonna do like one more second gear hit in my normal spot, and then, you know, if it's still the downslope for whatever reason, oh well. But yeah, that's kind of what, you know, I'm getting right now. But I'm kind of curious to see if this thing says if this says like a downward slope in this area that I'm at right now, then I know my draggy's bugging out. But I'm curious to see if it's gonna make a difference or not. Because realistically, this third gear hit, if it's slower than the third gear hit that I did at the other spot with the bumpy road, that's gonna pretty much confirm my theory that, you know, maybe E30 isn't actually, you know, worth it. So that third gear hit was successful. Draggy did not invalidate it. It said there was a little bit of a slope, but it's nothing too crazy. I've had slopes like that before, but maybe it is my device that could be tweaking out, because that road that I was on is like flat. Because I hit it like a couple weeks ago and it was like flat on Draggy. But the car did run a faster time on the E30 mix. Nothing too crazy, nothing to write home about, but it did run a faster time. I do believe that this E30 blend, it needs the carbon traps removed and potentially some weight reduction. And those are things that currently, because this is my daily driver, I'm not going to do. I don't really care to remove the carbon traps right now. When I do remove the carbon traps, it's going to be for, you know, the Whipple or the Roush blower intakes. So I mean, I'm not going to go through the hassle to remove them. It's not, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Or maybe it is, you know. Shit, it might cut a whole second off, who knows. But nothing too crazy though. I'm gonna do one more hit on this road over here, and if it's chalked, oh well. But I kind of want to get one more second gear hit that's valid. I don't know why it invalidated the other one, but we're gonna see if second gear is quicker, because the third gear so far is, you know, it's the fastest, but it's nothing too insane. Definitely not nothing too insane. Wasn't the best, but there we go. There we go. There we go. That was a big improvement. There we go. Yes. Yes. Whoa. Come on, brother, man. You're not paying attention, god dang it. So second gear, yeah, these with the long gears, I'll tell y'all right now, with the long gears, believe it or not, this is probably the only Mustang where the car is slower, significantly slower, leaving in third gear versus second gear. It's not like, you know, like this thing is running like 9s or something like that, but the pickup is noticeable 100% with the E30 blend. All right, at a gas station again. Gonna make sure everything's good. This carbon intake manifold, man, this thing is staying on, man. This is a nice piece. I like this. Or not intake manifold. Intake manifold cover. Woo. Alright. Man. I don't have anything on me, I'm sorry. I don't have anything on me, I'm sorry. What? Oh, I can't, I'm sorry. She said, do you want to give me a ride? Hell nah. Let me get the hell up out of here. I'll tell you this. People have way bigger balls out here to ask, I mean, to quote unquote ask for help, as far as like, you know, asking for money or, you know, a ride or whatnot. People have way bigger balls out here than, you know, people in Chicago, because nobody will come up to you in Chicago on that type of shit, bro. Like, you will get shot. All right, let's go over the times on E30. Remember, the setup is the exact same as it was before. We just have some E85 mixed in with 93 octane. So the S650 on E30 went 11.77 60 to 130. This is right on the money on what I thought it was going to run from the second gear start. So it looks like starting in second with the current tire size as well as rear end gear ratio and RPM limit we have right now is going to be the way to go, but you do have to be able to bang the gears best of your ability. This is right on the money. I'm really happy with this time. This is simply adding in $6 worth of E85, and we saw some pretty substantial gains. This is like not something minor. This is on the stock tune file, just mixing in E30, and we were able to go from essentially a 1239 to an 11.77. That's awesome. The weather was pretty much the same as well. It was 79 degrees outside. The altitude was 144 and the DA was 1,756. So the DA was a little bit better the night that I did do the second gear hit with the E30, but anywhere between, like, realistically, 17 to 2000 DA, the same temperature. The car is more or less going to run the same. It's just going to be speeding up or going slower depending on if you made some setup changes. Now, I'm very curious to see what other S650s are running, 6-speed manual S650s are running that have the E30 combination that I do. Remember, my car has the stock manifolds. It has just a Steeda H pipe with the active exhaust. Full weight car, it is a 301A. I'm really curious to see what a manual 6-speed S650 would run with long tube headers, as well as the cold air intakes. I wonder if those cars are around where this car is right now. Something is telling me that if I were to go ahead and install long tube headers and just go on a full 93 mix, this is more or less where the car would be. It might be slightly faster, maybe closer to like a lower 11, like I'd say maybe realistically like 11.3, 11.5, maybe low to mid 11. But right now, 11.77 with just $6 with the E85, I think that is amazing. Now, here's where things are actually kind of interesting, because we are going to be going over the third gear start, which I actually was quite surprised at, I'm not going to lie. Now, that second gear start was done after the third gear start, but this is where things are kind of weird and kind of interesting here. So, third gear start, E30. The car went 12.35. This is the same exact stretch of road that I did both of these on. So it went slightly faster than the second gear start on 93, but it wasn't that much quicker. So that's going to be third gear starting with the E30 mix. So obviously, because these gears are incredibly long in the S650, MT82 D4, you're going to be wanting to start in second gear if you want to have the best performance possible. Now, the weather pretty much the same, 79 degrees. The altitude was 124, and DA was actually 1823, so it varied just slightly. I think that might be just a draggy thing in all reality, but maybe, you know, the air density got slightly better, because that was about a 20-minute, you know, round trip to get back to the spot. So that's really interesting here. 1235, third gear start with the E30 blend. I think if we were to go ahead and add, let's just say, a full drag pack, meaning we had some lighter wheels in the back, like a 17x10, nothing crazy, and then we were to go to like an 18x5 in the front, skinny, I do believe that we can go ahead and dip into the low 11s, potentially even high 10s on E30 with a full drag pack. And then obviously adding in headers and removing the carbon traps, I think this car will be in the 10s, 60 to 130 all day, which is moving in the right direction, because in all reality, we're not even tuning the car. This is just the stock calibration, you know, adjusting the fuel trims. I'm really happy with the S650, man. This platform so far has very, very impressive, because we're literally moving with the stock components. The only thing we've changed is, you know, adding, you know, a resonator delete, which, you know, isn't really going to add any horsepower. So if you guys enjoy the video, feel free, drop a like on the vid, subscribe to the channel, turn those post notifications. Let me know down in the comment section if you have a draggy and you took out your S650 with a similar setup. If you have long tube headers on 93, let me know your times. If you have long tube headers and mixed in with the E30, also let me know your times. And if you have, you know, a Whipple supercharger, because the Rouse is not available to the general public, and you have E30 times, also let me know down in the comment section what that thing is doing. So if you guys enjoyed, like I said, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one, man. Deuces.